Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Fate Reforged Swiss draft. Got Outpost Siege again. I still want to try this card. I think it's good. Extra card every turn, sort of, with cons, and dragons punishes your opponent. Albeit bit slow. It didn't really pan out for me too much with my last deck, but my last deck was pretty unusual. I do love Honor's Reward. This might actually be better, honestly, but I mean, there's a lot of potential value you reap from Outpost Siege, but it's more of a long game card. Not that I have an issue with that. Honor's Reward is a pretty strong card, though. Combat trick that gains you life and gives permanent buff. I've had more success with Honor's Reward than I have with Outpost Siege, but we've got a small sample size rather, so I'm going to go with the Outpost Siege. I like the Outpost Siege. I want it to be good. I just played it in my last deck and didn't get an opportunity to do much with it. Well, I did get an Honor's Reward now, so maybe I take it. Sabertooth. Return another creature you control to its owner's hand to make this thing indestructible. That's actually pretty good. Hunt the Weak is some good removal. Definitely. Definitely good removal. But problem with taking the Hunt the Weak is it limits my deck options. Whereas if I take the Honors Reward, I can still be both Jeskai or Mardu and potentially be fairly aggressive. Like, if I'm a Mardu tokens deck, having the dragons on this would be pretty insane. All my little tokens turn into pingers when they die. Or if I end up Jeskai, that could still be very good. Just getting the extra points of damage in or extra cards off the top. And Honor's Reward is certainly good in either of those decks. So I think here I am going to actually just take Honor's Reward. There's not any like crazy good red cards either, so seems like a fine choice. All right, so now I can take the Woe Reaper, which is a solid 1-drop. Maybe I finally get a chance to do something aggressive here. Otherwise, Death Touch if I know I'm playing Mardu, but I probably still want the Woe Reaper for now, depending on what my splash color is. If I take the Typhoid Rats, I likely end up splashing the red, which might actually make sense. But I still kind of like the Woe Reaper. It's more aggressive, certainly. 1 mana, 2/1. Yeah, and it's going to work really well with this Honors Reward. I may have still wanted the Honors Reward over the Outpost Siege. It'll be tough to say. I'm definitely testing Outpost Siege here because I do feel as though it's a pretty good card. Whether you're, putting out your hand really fast or you have a well-developed board presence, both of which seem like likely scenarios with this deck, it's going to be nice to have. Okay, Windscarred Crag is good, but I'm looking at this Vault Breaker. This guy is pretty awesome. Being able to dash him, hasty 4 damage, can be quite good. Otherwise, taking the Skirmisher's fine as a warrior, but I think we more likely table it. There's also Hunt the Weak in green if I want to go more of a Abzan build, but for now, I guess I'm more interested in Jeskai or Mardu. So we could take the Crag, but I think I'm going to take the Dash dude. I kind of like him. We shall see how good he is. Okay. I kind of like Gorswine. If I'm doing something aggressive, works really well with the Honors Reward too. Turns it into a 6/3, which is nothing to scoff at. Harsh Sustenance is definitely a good card in Mardu. You get some pony back brigades with Harsh Sustenance or Hordling Outbursts, and you got a really nice thing going there because you can deal it to the face too. And you gain the life. It's just a good card. I'm a little more tempted to take the Gorswine. It's more aggressive. And a little less non-committal to an archetype. Alright, I'm taking Gorswine. This is the first aggro build or deck I've had in this format, so certainly interested to see how this works out. All right, Soul Summon seems perfectly reasonable. What's Flame Rush Rider do? It's a rare. Put a token on the battlefield, tap and attack, and that's a copy of another target attack. Jeez. Well, that guy seems really good. Let's take him. So, base, red, white, it certainly appears. I'm fine with Soul Summons here. It's a bear, manifest, potentially turn it into one of our other creatures that would be good. Otherwise, the Swiftwater Cliffs would aim us more towards a Jeskai deck. But I like the 2-drops. I mean, we're playing something aggressive. You're going to want to make sure you got some cheap creatures in there. None of the creatures here really interest me all that much. I think we'll just take the Cleric for possibly opposing aggressive decks, but I also don't really want to go up against it based on what we have. It seems like it's a good blocker against us, so I'll hate the Cleric and potentially play it if we need to. All right, I could take Tranquil Cove. I actually think I like Abzan Advantage. Certainly not an amazing trick, but it is a combat trick nonetheless, and potential to take out. I mean, what I like about it is it's at least main deckable, regardless of whether they have a enchantment or not, since it bolsters. So I think we take it. All right, there's stuff here. I think we're just gonna take the tabled Bloodfell Caves, possibly work towards a Mardu deck. This just helps us fix just fine for that. All right, I'm gonna take the collateral damage here. It's a pretty good chance we end up playing it, so I would like to have it. Especially if we end up with some tokeny stuff. All right, there's a rune mark here, but I think we're just going to slam this Windscarred Crag. Really nice land table there. So we have a great start towards an aggressive deck. Technically, and we get the Harsh Sustenance on the wheel. That's really nice, actually. I'm going to move the dash cards into dash positions, just because that's like where I can potentially play them at. Harsh Sustenance wheel is really nice, I think. So it would appear that I'm going to start gearing towards a tokeny based build. So Hordling Outbursts, Trumpet Blasts, Ponyback Brigades, of course. Stuff like that, I think, are going to be of a lot of benefit to this deck. Some more removal would be nice, but our combat tricks are already quite good. I like we have Outpost Siege, Harsh Sustenance, and Collateral Damage. 3 cards that I would say work really well in conjunction with token-producing cards. All right, Ivory Tusk Fortress, certainly good, but we're looking at Feat of Resistance, but I think more likely we're going to take the Mardu Heart Piercer, which is just a really nice aggressive card. Kills morphs when you're on the play really effectively, and 2/3 bodies, nothing to scoff at, of course. But I mean, I would really like to have the Feat of Resistance. I love that combat trick, but I think having another creature that also doubles as a kill spell is more powerful than the protection that Feat of Resistance grants, although that's certainly debatable. All right, Mardu Charm, likely what we're going to take. Yeah, really not giving up much of anything else in this pack that's on color, but certainly powerful cards in here in Pinewalker, Weapon Master. Hopefully table, though, Tormenting Voice. I don't know how realistic it is, but I actually like Tormenting Voice. All right. Bloodfire Expert seems reasonable. There's also Sultai Scavenger and Bloodfell Caves. I could just take the Bloodfell Caves. Currently running 6 creatures, including the Soul Summons. So, I mean, you definitely want a high creature deck. Maybe I just take the Bondkin. It's a 2-drop. It's likely better than Bloodfire Expert for our deck, just because we look like a deck that wants to put a lot of pressure down very fast. So I guess we'll take the Bondkin over the Fixer. Hopefully table Bloodfell Caves, Expert, or Sultai Scavenger, but I don't know how realistic that is. But yeah, actually, I think Bondkin is absolutely the pick. The main reason being because Abzan Advantage and Honors Reward, giving the surprise first strike is certainly very good. I think we just take Ride Down here. It's a pretty excellent removal spell and amazing alongside the likes of Goreswine or Vault Breaker. So There is a Chief of the Edge, yes, but we actually don't have that many warriors. That guy is a warrior. Other than that, how did I never notice this guy's a hound soldier before? We got a dog warrior over there. I guess Flamer Shredder's a warrior as well. This thing makes warriors, so Chief of the Edge would actually be a pretty reasonable pick here, but I'm still going to take the removal spell that's in our main colors. I think that's just going to be better for us overall. Okay. Nothing on color here that I really want, unfortunately, so I think I'm actually going to hate the Death Frenzy. Both Incremental Growth and Roar of Challenge would be cards I certainly don't want to deal with either, but I think Death Frenzy is actually going to be the best against us, especially if we're planning to be token-based. So could have actually taken the Mana Fixer there. Pretty solid argument for that, but I didn't. All right, so now I guess we're doing Hateblade or Skull Hunter. Hateblade's Death Touch is quite nice, but I guess another pro of the Hateblade is you can play it easier than your splash color Skull Hunter. All right, I think I convinced myself we're going to do Hateblade, but granted, the card is less good when you don't have a lot of black fixing, but overall, I think Hateblade's probably going to be better in what we're trying to do than the Skull Hunter will be. I think Skull Hunter is just going to be harder to play. Okay, Canyon Lurkers here, Arrow Storm. It's also Krumar Bonkin, but I think I actually take the Lurkers over the Bonkin. It's not on our splash color, and comes out a little bit faster. I'm a big Arrow Storm fan, so I kind of have to think about this for a sec. We do have 8 creatures currently, so and that's including the Soul Summons. So I think I am actually going to go Lurkers. I want to have a really good threat count. So I think we're going to be hunting for less cards like... we're just going to be hunting for less actual spells and more actual creatures. So especially to get the maximum value out of Abzan Advantage and Honor's Reward. Here's a pretty easy Mardu Warshrieker. It's just a really great card in general, especially when it's on color like it is for us. Potentially a 17 land deck here, depending on what pack 3 is looking like. But we're currently 5 cards short of a 18 land deck if we still want to make that work. Nothing in here we really care about. I really don't think Swift Kick is all that good for us. So I think I'm looking at this Rugged Highlands for some sort of... I guess not a lot of cards I'm going to splash, but I don't really feel like hating anything out of that pack either, so... Alright, we did table the Tormenting Voice, which I think there is a banner as well, but definitely don't like playing banners in aggressive builds. But Tormenting Voice is actually a fine one. It lets you keep questionable hands more often. And it's a card draw spell, sort of. It's at least a cycle effect that's decent. Alright, I guess we take the Cavalry. I'd prefer to not play it, but it's certainly playable in here. Tracker is playable as well, not super amazing. Take a second Cavalry, still not really wanting it. So 21 cards, but I really don't consider the double Cavalry, and even the Hateblade is still kind of questionable in this deck, so I'm looking for alternative aggressive creatures. It does appear that we're still just kind of on the hunt for solid creatures. I mean, Leaping Master is fine, as it's a 2-drop that's in our main colors. And considering how low our fixing is, it might be the best first pick option. I mean, I do think that the Skull Hunter and Hateblade in a vacuum are better cards, but I think for what we're trying to do, I'd rather have the Leaping Master. There's Become Immense, which with the Rugged Highlands, I could potentially splash and is actually a pretty reasonable card. An additional 6 damage out of nowhere is nothing to be overlooked, but just not entirely convinced I need to splash it. So let's just take the Leaping Master for now. Certainly not a hyper exciting pick. Alright, I guess we take the Bloodsoaked Champ. We have enough off-color aggressive cards where I likely can make it work. Unfortunately not a super exciting card to splash, but I think we'll take it anyway. So this is 17 land. Ooh, well, Bloodstained Mire's worth tickets. Otherwise, I think Abzan Battle Priest would be an easy pick. But I think actually, geez, and Horde Chief. cards I really want in this pack, but I'm just going to take the tickets that fix for us. And we still technically can run a 17 land deck, so I think I'm going to proceed with that. But we'll take the Bloodstained Mire. I really wish that Battle Priest and Horde Chief, and even the Bondkin was in a different pack, but can't always get what you want. All right, we'll take the second Lurkers here over the Bring Low, and I think we'll just cut a Cavalry because it seems like a fairly easy cut. Lurkers is fairly aggressive, so I think I like it. All right, Rough Rider is quite good. I think that's an easy pick here. I would love to have the Bloodfell Caves as well, but Rough Rider is very good. Ascendancy is a card that I have legitimate fears of, but I think we're just going to take it. Really hoping to wheel one of these Bloodfell Caves, but we'll see if we can get so lucky. All right, Lurkers number 3, I'm still on board. Easily can play it over the Hateblade and Cavalry. Those cards are fairly underwhelming, I would say, compared to Lurkers. Not that Lurkers is amazing, but I like that it trades fairly well defensively. All right, we did table a Bloodfell Caves, which is pretty great news for us. There is Trumpet Blast. I think the truly unfortunate thing about our deck is I was geared pre-cons packs to go a token build, but we just really didn't see any Ponyback Brigades or anything that worked out for that. So kind of unfortunate, but Bloodfell Caves here is fine. Aerostorm would be a welcome addition, so would the Skull Hunter, or even the Trumpet Blast, but I'm happy to take a Bloodfell Caves if we already have a 17 land deck that's legitimate. All right, second Ride Down is just a really fantastic pickup here. I think I probably just run it over Collateral Damage. Collateral Damage is a fine card, seeing as its removal, but I could cut the tracker, but then we're at 14 creatures, which makes the Collateral Damage, Abzan Advantage, and Honors Reward all much more underwhelming. So I think I'd take Ride Down and cut a spell, although I do want the Collateral Damage, but I guess we cut it. All right, I can take Skull Hunter here over a War Behemoth. Probably play it over the tracker, I guess, because it's a 2-drop, and tracker's just mostly underwhelming. All right, second Tormenting Voice doesn't seem super necessary in this deck, but neither do any of these other cards. I don't have a lot of incentive to play Warriors, really. I guess the best card against us is probably Sage Eye Harrier. It's defensively good. All right, Bring Low. Take it, likely play it. I don't think we need the Goblin Slide so much. We didn't get the Trumpet Blast, so I don't think that's necessary. I could probably run Bring Low over Tormenting Voice. I like Tormenting Voice, but I'd rather have a removal spell, I guess. Water Whirl's probably the best card against us, so I'll hate that. Second Skull Hunter's pretty welcome addition. I may try and make that card work. I'm not sure yet. And second to last pick Banner's certainly not bad. All right. Yeah, I probably cut Abzan Advantage as a sideboard card. It's certainly fine. I don't think it's amazing. It's a nice combat trick, but I don't think it's necessary in the main deck. I think we want to have a nice creature count in here. So let's take a look. We ended up with pretty decent fixing, so I'm happy with that. And we're definitely base red-white and splashing the black, so that's good. I still like the Vault Breaker in here, and Flame Rush Rider seems fine alongside the likes of Rough Rider. Although, no, I guess it doesn't work like that. Well, it's still okay. You're still getting a 5/4 out of it, but you get what I'm saying. You don't get the attack trigger. I do, however, like Flame Rush Rider with Heart Piercer. That's actually insane. Yeah, because you get to attack, put the token in tapped and attacking. Since you've already declared an attack, you actually get raid triggers off of Flame Rush Rider, which I would say is extremely good. So I'm excited to try that card out. And it works really well with these Canyon Lurkers. Our mana base, I guess, is a bit questionable because of the Skull Hunters. and the Blood-Soaked Champ. So we actually need black early, but I would say one major huge pro of this deck is the fact that we don't have we don't have color intensive spells at all in this deck. We really don't. We don't have color intensive spells whatsoever. So there's nothing that requires double color, which is really nice. I mean, the ride downs technically rather require two colors, but not two of the same color. So we don't need a lot of one color. I think we can be a healthy mix of the three and likely be pretty good. So I don't think our mana base is too affected. What are major glaring shortcomings of this deck? We didn't end up with the token build that I wanted. Our removal is good. Double ride down, but it's a bit... we don't have anything that's like insanely good removal. Double ride down is good because it's going to reward us for being aggressive, especially alongside the high power guys. But we didn't get anything that's like ridiculous good removal. We can't do any higher than like... Well, the ride downs take care of any threat, I guess, so they're like the best removal in our deck. Yeah, I mean, this deck is totally satisfactory and pretty aggressive looking, and we top out at 5 mana, so I think we are going to play 17 lands. Especially considering we don't have any form of card advantage in here. I guess we do have the Outpost Siege, which is technically card advantage, but not enough that I would say justifying running 18 lands, in my opinion. So we're pretty even mix of black and white. I mean, these also are white spells, so we have more white than black, but I think we're likely to try and just even out our deck as much as possible since we need all three colors early. So that could create some issues, especially when you factor we're running 17 lands, but I think we're still going to be fine. So let's work this out. 3 sources of black, 4 sources of red, 1 source of white already. So let's likely lower this and up this. What does this put us at? This puts us at 8 sources of red, 7 sources of black, 6 sources of white. What if we do 7 sources red, 7 sources white, 7 sources black? Or what if we do 8 sources red, 6 sources black, 7 sources white? Can I get away with that? Can't play that Blood-Soaked Champ on turn 1 too reliably with this setup. I mean, technically I could do 777, right? This is 7 sources red, 7 sources black, 7 sources white. I could do that, but if we don't see the red mana, that could create some pretty immediate issues. But maybe this is the best. Maybe evenly splitting it is not that bad of an idea. I mean, let's face it, I really want all 3 mana as soon as possible. I guess technically the dash on this is double red, but I don't have to dash it. I did end up with very few morph, only the lurkers. So that could create an issue. I may just do the even split of my mana base. I mean, let's take a look here. I need black and white early, and then I need red mid-game. So I think I am doing a 7-7-7 split, which certainly could create issues, and I think that's going to be the major glaring hole in this deck, is the fact that we're aggressive and we're evenly split amongst our mana base. So if any problems arise from this deck, I think the biggest one first and foremost is going to be mana issues, which at this point I'm just prepared to accept. But I like our deck. I really do like the deck if we can hit our mana. It looks nice. Powerful creatures, good removal, good combat tricks, pretty powerful finishers. The lurkers have certainly finished games for me. I'd like some more evasive stuff, which we don't have. But double ride down, like I said, Heart Sustenance, Mardu Charm, Bring Low, and Heart Piercer are all very good removal. And Rough Rider is just a tank on his own. Very good card. All right, I guess I'm prepared to run it like this, and we'll have to see how it does. Is there any way I can fit in the collateral damage just as a nice extra finisher? Probably not. I could cut one of my creatures for it, but cutting a creature for a card that requires a creature to sacrifice to be able to play it just seems incorrect to me. I could play it over Bringlow. Maybe there's a reasonable argument there. I mean, Bringlow can't hit face, but doesn't require you to sacrifice a creature. But we have a reasonable creature count, and we have a good creature to sacrifice in Bloodsoaked Champion. Yeah, I guess that's debatable. It took me that long to make this deck? Jeez. Uh-oh. Did I get booted? That's not good.